how does it feel? I'm like, what do you mean? How does it feel to be worth 25 mil? We just got valuated. This is the business valuation and your percentages in the company. That means this is your worth. I'm like, wow.
We have to talk about Amazon bestseller, international bestseller.
International bestseller. No, I believe we get so unhappy by staying in the comfort zone because people are more happy when they grow. We are more happy when we grow, right? When we learn something new, when we get to figure out a new solution or we have a breakthrough. I put a gun to your head and I say, lose the fucking 20 kilos or I kill your daughter.
Yeah. I would say I'm not as extreme
Why not?
as you. I'll get to that.
But let's take it now, that's good. Why not? Why are you not extreme? I've shaken hands with multi-billionaires, multi-millionaires, Hollywood actors, top athletes, and that's my network. So I meet all kinds of different brains. And people who really hit the top in their life, whatever it is that they want, they spend the majority of their life to create. What's up, Instagram? All the way from Madrid, Sylvester joins with his podcast. And he says I'm in for a special treat. Checking 1, 2, let's see. Sylvester, good luck.
I don't need it, but thank you.
I like it.
Welcome to another episode of 2 years from now. This is my podcast where I talk with my guest about learnings from our past and try to look into the future and dream a bit, manifest a lot, and just really have a good, interesting conversation together. Today's guest is somebody that I have been admiring and following for quite a while. So I'm really, really humble and happy to actually today sit in his home to record this episode. He is the co-founder of Minto, Playbook app, and Ocast, and runs the online mentor program called Mia. He lived in 8 countries, and he is the author of the books Begin with the Habits in Danish and Above Average, which is his most recent published, and which we're going to talk about today. So
Amazon International Bestseller, guys. Do not miss out on it.
Amazon International Bestseller. And the guy is welcoming himself before I got the chance to do it. Mike, welcome to the show.
Hey, Sylvester. Good to see you.
It's good to see you again.
Again, yeah.
So this is actually, to be honest, the second take we are doing. I came here yesterday in the afternoon, super excited, super high. Like, now I'm going to make a podcast with Mike Radoor. And we sit here, have a great conversation for 1.5 hours, 2 hours. And I go to my iPhone, I record on my iPhone, and it stopped recording after 3 minutes. So now we do it all over again.
So here's a story from the real world. Sylvester came all the way from Madrid yesterday. We sat 2 hours here, right here recording, and everything was going great. We had a good conversation to figure out. What did we figure out? Sylvester's done.
Figured out that we have to keep showing up and doing it all over again.
Why?
Because it didn't record.
So we just do it one more time. Another podcast.
The fact that I slept on our conversation will make today even better. I tell myself that.
Let's give it a show.
Let's give it a show.
Let's give it a show.
Mike, we do this obviously in English, even though we are both native in Danish. We do that because both of our audiences are international, and we want to aim for more people that are able to understand us than just the 6 million in Denmark.
1.3 billion versus 5 million. I think the possibilities are bigger.
That's it. I mean, that's preferred, right?
Yeah, you should.
But I sometimes also have this feeling that when I speak in English versus when I speak in Danish, that I get tap into different personalities. Can you relate to that?
No. I know what you mean, but it's the thought of who you are in different contexts that makes you feel that you tap into different personalities. That is actually you tapping into the creative force you have. Mm-hmm. Because when you speak in English, you probably have a mental image of who should you be in English. And when you speak Danish, well, you don't think much about who you should be because you just are.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the belief you have about it. So I've been speaking English for 16 years now, and I lived in as you said, 8 countries, probably a little more. And English has been my second nature for so many years. And of course, in the very beginning, I had a little thing with, oh, I'm speaking English. Am I saying things right?
Yeah.
But I am who I am, and I speak Danish, I speak English. The way I express myself is a lot through energy, and not always through the vocabulary.
Right.
Because my English vocabulary is not near as good as my Danish is. Or actually, I believe my Danish vocabulary is almost not as good as my English anymore. So, no, I think I'm the same. I believe I'm the same.
You also lived abroad for quite some years now.
Yeah.
For me, it's been 2 years in Spain, and then early on, I was studying a semester in San Diego. But I developed this kind of association with English. That's when I'm out there. That's when I'm out there making my life come true. And I think also the vocabulary is related to that. And then I have easier tapping into that kind of state of mind or that mindset that, like, if you can dream it, you can do it kind of mindset.
But isn't that because of all the YouTube videos you've seen in English,
probably,
right? It's everything you've been storaging in your mind, and that gives you an idea of who you should act.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty about creation. So you create yourself in every conversation, in every thought. You are creating yourself. And the reference points that go so fast from your subconscious mind is what you create. And now you say, well, go out there, only one life. And, it sounds like a YouTube channel you've been listening to. So that's your reference point.
Right.
And that's why you create yourself in that attitude.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes. And we're also going to talk a lot more about like conditioning and mental programming. And I think for me, Danish is also the language that I've been programmed with, like, obviously, as I was raised in primary school, high school, university, everything, from my parents, everybody. And then that's kind of the energy also related to the language. I just think it's an interesting observation I do.
Culture, and so you are constantly observing people, constantly observing energy fields. You're constantly observing words and facial expressions and body movements. And of course, you have a huge storage of your time in Denmark.
Yes.
And in Denmark, the environment you were in, they behaved in a way, or the movies you saw, they spoke in a way, and that's your reference point.
Yes, indeed. Again, thank you for letting me into your house and sitting here on your terrace with this amazing view. I hope you can see it.
Sunrise.
It's really beautiful.
Yeah.
We're sitting here in the morning and just feeling an amazing energy here, being surrounded with Mike. Like, you're super, like, contagious, if you can say that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So that's really great. Yesterday when I arrived, I did an observation from, like, the first minutes we talked together. You asked me, so Sylvester, what are you up to here in Spain? And I tell you, I lived 1 year in Barcelona working as a marketing advisor for Google, and then I say, it doesn't sound as cool as it is, or something like that, and you immediately stop me and you say, hey man, stop talking yourself down.
Yeah.
That's the first 2 minutes we know each other.
Yeah.
And I just thought that says so much about you, and it says maybe also a lot about me.
Yeah.
But, like, that's just your intuition sparkling in there.
Yeah, but that's because I've learned that life can be lived in many ways. Right? You can live your life as an underdog. You can live your life as a disbeliever. You can live your life as a doubtful person, as a negative person. But you can choose to live your highest self. You just got to tap into it. And the way you think and speak, that becomes your creation. So I catch people in that.
Right.
I'm on a mission to give people the tools that I've gotten in my life, that it really has accelerated my life. And I'm not going to be arrogant, but everything I touch turns into gold.
Right.
Because I'm so fucking committed. And if I talk myself down, the result will come. So yeah, it's a part of me that if I hear people talk themselves down, I want to catch them, but it's also because I want to make an impression on you. I want you to remember me.
Yeah.
And I want to have my work, my hardcore study, all my life experience and everything I do, I want that to have a positive impact on you. I'm also the guy, when I coach people, I call people out for their bullshit. Really quick. Really quick. And some people are quite shocked. But in the end, I leave them with an impression. They go away from here thinking, what was that? What just hit me? In a positive way. And that's what I want. So why should you talk yourself down? You shouldn't. Never talk yourself down.
And I was reflecting a bit on it, and I realized that no matter what way I put it, there is no reason for doing that.
No.
Like, there will no benefit of doing that. I think might be talking about programming and language if I was in Denmark and I wanted to connect authentically with people who are more related to, let's call it, the law of jante. We'll talk about that later. Maybe that would be an authentic trait, and they would like accept me more because I talk myself into the middle. But
that's bullshit.
But it's bullshit, and I realized that in that moment.
When I meet people, and I understand you, when I meet people, and people ask me, so what are your goals? I say, I'm going to be on top of the world. I'm going to be the biggest speaker in the world. I am the fucking biggest speaker in the world. And then some people say, calm down. It says a lot more about them. I've never had a successful person in my life that has talked down to me. Never. I have never had a successful person that has told me to take it easy, don't follow your dreams, don't go out there with such a big aura. Never. But I've had people that was below me, if you could say that, which is a wrong way of putting it, but you know what I mean. They have tried to pull me down because of their disbeliefs. And whatever I say or I think, that is so contagious to you. And for you, you said, and thank you so much, you said that you were, hey, I'm looking forward to meet Mike because I've been following him. My words has a huge impact on you.
Absolutely.
So my authority has a huge impact in you. And I respect that. I take that responsibility. So let's say I have a day where my thoughts are negative, or I have a bad moment that happens. I'm never gonna give you that. Never. If I'm tired, I'm not giving it to you. If something very, very hardcore happened in my life, I'm still gonna meet up. I'm still gonna be the best I can to you, because that's the best gift I can give people. Right. So, yeah, I guess I'm a little different from many other coaches. I don't believe in surface coaching. Here's a habit. Do this in the morning. It doesn't fucking work. You need to go into the soul of people and change their belief systems before they actually change. Because if you believe you are the type of person who wakes up being a lazy, whatever you are, and you do this and you think negative thoughts, if you believe you are that, then a habit change won't help you. So I need you to start create who you want to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Off
track, guys. Poof.
No, it's great. I mean, that's why we're here. And I was in the introduction, I was giving a very brief summary of your great career in just 30 seconds. Could you, as a serial entrepreneur, as an author, as a person who lived in 8 countries, could you, talking about your career, give me 1, 2, 3 highlights that you look back on where you're like, okay, that was the top?
That was the top, yeah. We spoke about it yesterday, which was deleted, and I reflected a little bit upon it. But it was the same. It was the same. So big high in my life was the first investment we got in my first idea. So imagine that in the second year of my business, I think it's in Denmark we call it gymnasium. I'm not sure what high school. So in the second year of my high school, I became number 2 in a national competition about creating an idea, creating a business plan, going to the bank and get investment, 4,000 Danish kroner. What is that, 500 euros? And then go up to all kinds of fairs and present your product for all kinds of judges. And we made it through. We became number 2. And that idea, some of the greatest Danish entrepreneurs invested in a few years later. For me, that was a huge thing. That was the first moment.
And for reference, for the Danish audience, those people are
Jesper Buch. And Jesper Buch, he just checked out of Just Eat at that time. He was not a famous person. He was in the entrepreneurship environment. He was because he created the first order food online platform. And then Carsten Mikkelsen, who has been, he's been giving birth to so many entrepreneurs. He gave birth to Brian Sørensen, who made Kult. Energy drinks. He gave birth to Energy, which is the fitness, what do you call it, Pilates center. He gave birth to Jesper Buch. He gave birth to so many people, and those 2 people, they believed in me. That was a big moment.
And for the non-Danish audience, that's like the Danish rock star entrepreneur scene that Mike had behind him from the start, from early on. So I believe you had great amount of lessons
Yeah,
for these
absolutely.
guys. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But the question was again. I'm sorry.
Three
Now
highs.
I was the one going off track here.
Okay.
But the career highlights.
Career highlights. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the first one when they invested in me. That was a big, being accepted by these guys, but also the feeling of wow, they got my back.
Uh-huh.
And the next one I had was when we got our first huge capital injection. Oh no, that's not true. It wasn't the first capital injection. It was when we had the first capital injection and we got a new valuation of the company. That's true how it was. So we got around 5 million euros invested in our Series A. That was of course a high moment, but not the highest because it was it was a year later or 6 months later. I'm in Miami and we're trying to set up the operations over in America. I'm living in Carsten's house in, a huge mansion.
How old are you here?
I'm 25.
Oh.
24, and I'm driving his Porsche. I'm living his life. Every Sunday there is a barbecue with beautiful guys, beautiful ladies. In his backyard he has a volleyball court, and in the other backyard he has the Miami rivers and a speed what do you call it? Speed scooter. What do you call it? A water scooter. What do you call it?
Yeah. I don't know.
Whatever.
A scooter on water.
A scooter on water. Great.
Help us.
Yeah. And then he opens the door into the room that I'm living and he says, "How does it feel?" I'm like, "What do you mean? How does it feel to be worth 25 mil Danish kroner, which is 6 million euros or something, right? No, 5 million euros. No, not 4. Yeah, 4 million euros. How does that feel?" I said, "What do you mean? We just got valuated. This is the business valuation and your percentages in the company. That means this is your worth." I was like, wow. That was the first time I started to really know that we're doing something right here. Mm-hmm. That was a big moment. And the third moment that was very big, that was after a very, very, very stressful period. And I had quit my job in Minto because of mental health issues, and it's been a struggle for me. I was the one who was living abroad for 4 years, and I was not close to my friends, and I was working my ass off, and I didn't have much guidance, and I've had stress and anxiety for a while, and I had to quit my job position, and I quit my job position in Minto. I still had a big debt to Saxo Bank, and I had a credit line to pay my interest rates, and they were kind of running out, and 3 months before they were running out, and that means if they had been run out, I had to pay every month the same as a very expensive apartment cost you in Copenhagen, just in interest. And then I was under pressure. And then Anders Kold Poulsen, who is the founder of the big Bestseller group, a billionaire in Denmark, he came in with a 3-digit million valuation, and I took my check out. Uh-huh. So that was the first time I came financially independent, and that was a big moment for me. Right. I could pay my debt off. I wasn't stressed anymore. It's just like, everything went. And from there on, it was a big moment for me because from there on, I didn't do it. I could start my healing journey. Right. Before that, I couldn't because it was hard for me to heal in a period of so much stress. So those 3 big moments, which all concerns financials, yes, or accomplishments, but that's my career, right? Yes. Big moments. So first one, the 500 euros from like the first time you get a capital injection. So now the first 100,000 euro was around what Jesper and Carsten injected. But back then in high school. Yeah, but no, that's not a big moment. Okay. No, that was just where it came from, the idea. Okay. The big moment was when Jesper and Carsten. Yeah, absolutely understood. Understood, and I can imagine. Yeah. I haven't tried. No, not yet. No. I would like to hear more about Mike, your motivation. We talked a bit about whether motivation comes from avoiding pain or seeking pleasure. When you look back on your career and the things you have done, was your motivation to avoid or to get and to gain? Yeah, it was a mix. I've always had a big drive in me to avoid pain, and because I grew up in an environment where that was very harsh for me, and I got bullied a lot, and in my family at home, my mom wasn't capable, is the right word. So I love her very much. She's the best in the world, and I called her the other day on her birthday, and she cried, and so don't get me wrong, this is just a true story. So my mom grew up in an environment where love was not something she was taught. So she was taught love was something love wasn't. And she passed that on to me, which meant I didn't always feel loved as a kid. I didn't feel listened to. I didn't feel heard. And my mom and dad, they split up. My dad has had mental health issues all his life. And I thought I had to perform to be loved. So to avoid being bullied, which I got a lot, I performed to be the best. I figured out that, for these people to stop bullying me, if I became one of the best football players, they all would start to respect me, which I did. So that was me running away from pain. Mm-hmm. And that was sticking with me. So I figured, wow, if I'm just the best in whatever I do, people will love me. Mm. People will love me, or at least they won't bully me. Mm-hmm. They won't bully me. So that was me running away. Yeah, they will respect me. Yeah. Fucking respect me. That was my drive. It's a huge driver. And then, of course, that driver together with understanding, I can actually do it. I can become the best in what I put my mind to. And I started to realize that in a young age, right before I was 20. And I just put a lot of energy into becoming the best in everything I did. And literally everything I did, I just wanted to be the best. Because then I avoided being bullied. I got accepted. Mm-hmm. So I was avoiding pain and gaining the respect. So it was a double-side driver. Yeah. So it was a push and pull. Yeah. Which was humongous, right? Yeah.
And would you say that throughout the years that this motivation or what kept you going has changed?
Yeah, absolutely. So, people speak a lot about, what is your life purpose? Nobody fucking knows. Like, ask a kid who's 19 years old, what is your life purpose? I don't know, get laid. My life purpose, when I think back, was to be accepted. Uh-huh. That's why I woke up every day just to be accepted. Yeah. So it's a quite... This is authentic in Spain, guys. And that was probably a Harley Davidson, just so you know.
Confirm.
Yeah. My life purpose was being accepted. Uh-huh. I didn't know it at that time. Right. But that was my program. Mike, you got to be accepted today. Today you need some people to accept you. And it had a huge energy with it. And I had a coach that told me, you are good as you are, Mike. You are the world. You are brilliant. You're fantastic. And I didn't believe in that. I had to do something to be that. But we are. Just being a human, you are the biggest, brilliant genius in the world because you can create. You can wake up. You can create now. You can create something. But I didn't understand. So I changed that drive, which has been a huge driver for me, into a life purpose, which is, instead of being accepted, now I want to inspire. Yes. I want to inspire people. So it has bits and pieces from being accepted, because I'm not looking for acceptance anymore. I'm looking for inspiring people. I'm not here for you to accept me for being good enough. I'm here to show you can be a better version than you are. Right. So it has that drive from that time. I didn't kill it. I took it and I transmuted it into something for having the energy flow to keep going that way. And now my life purpose is to inspire people and show people that, you can love unconditionally, you can get what you want in life, you can change your way of being, and you can create yourself in every moment. So that's it.
It sounds like also the beginning was, the motivation was to grow, grow your wealth, become rich.
No, but that was acceptance.
That was acceptance.
Yeah, again. Because when I'm rich, I'm respected. Uh-huh. When I'm the best, I'm respected.
Yeah. And then when it then changes, it's becoming more of a purpose for you to be something for people and help other people get up there or whatever they want.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I want to be a light. I'm a light. I'm a light for people. I want that.
And now that the podcast is called 2 years from now, which is also a reflection on the past, I think it's a good note to add that it's okay to start out with the dream of being accepted or wanting to become rich or whatever. Like
everything is okay.
You can do what you want, and then later on you can build purpose on top of it, or like you can go your way basically with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think when I look at my generation and also the generation just below me, people start with purpose. Like, people start asking themselves the question of purpose.
They don't fucking know.
And that's a really tough question to ask yourself when you haven't even, when you just came out of high school, right?
You don't even know, what you're capable of physically, man. Uh-huh. You want to have a purpose. People ask me, Mike, how do you find your passion? Yeah. I wish I could give you, here's a process. But I honestly believe to find your passion, you gotta try so many different things to figure out what you like, what you don't like, what you wanna get better at. Because, you know, if you try all kinds of stuff, when I coach young people, I tell them, they say, Mike, I want to start a business. I've been thinking about it for a year. I said, what about getting a job and start proving to yourself that you can become the best? Get a job, learn a lot, and just make an effort.
Yeah.
And in that, if you don't like it, change it.
Yeah.
And suddenly you will catch something.
Yeah.
Because you have to understand, there's so many things you are, I call it unconscious incompetent. You don't know that you don't know.
Yeah.
So let's say you walk in through my living room and I have a little line that is invisible. You don't know that you don't know, and bang, now you know you don't know. It catches you. But you gotta have that experience to understand, fuck, there's something here on the floor, you know, I gotta lift my feet.
Yeah. It takes a bit of abstraction to get that one, but when you get it, like, you don't know what you don't know.
No, but you don't know. When the first time you ride a bike, you don't know you don't know. But when you crash, now you know you don't know.
Yeah.
All right, so you gotta go out and open up. It's like a game, World of Warcraft. You know, when you have all these black areas, and then you don't know what's there.
Yeah.
But actually, World of Warcraft, you know that you don't know.
Yeah.
So my point is, so how to find your purpose or passion? You gotta try a lot of stuff and give it all you got. You gotta give it all you got, and at some point you will find something where you have a feeling, oh, this I want to get better at. This I want to study about. This I want to figure out how to be a better salesperson, a better leader, or a better athlete, or whatever it be, better mechanic, better baker. But you gotta try a lot of stuff to figure out what you really like.
Yeah. Yeah, so a lot of the answers also comes from the movement itself, and comes from doing, trying, figuring out on the way. You cannot just sit back in your chair and then wait for the purpose and the idea to come down.
It won't fucking happen, because then the purpose is constructed from your past. It's your parents or your football trainer or your school teacher or whatever that was authorities in your life when you were a kid.
Yeah.
You're so programmed from those experiences, those beliefs, those thoughts.
Yeah.
So you got to go out. You know, the majority of people I meet, they spend the majority of their life finding themselves.
Yes.
But the top dogs I meet, and you have to understand, I've shaken hands with multi-billionaires, multi-millionaires, Hollywood actors, top athletes, and that's my network.
Yes.
So I meet all kinds of different brains, and people who really hit the top in their life, whatever it is that they want, they spend the majority of their life to create themselves, which is what I believe is the right thing to do. Because when you came here this morning, before you came to my home, you created who you were going to be, consciously or unconsciously. But if you really sat down and you have really thought about who you wanted to be in that situation, and you said that loud and you committed to be that person, now you create a new possibility in the quantum field.
Right.
Just by thought.
Yeah.
So creating yourself is important.
Yeah.
Finding yourself, fuck finding yourself. What should you find? You can change any moment.
Yeah.
What about figuring out, okay, here I want to be that.
Yeah.
Be it.
Yeah.
Okay, here I want to be that. Okay, be it.
Yeah.
And that's a huge part of my philosophy. This is just an idea. I'm just giving you ideas. You know, everything in the world is ideas.
Yeah.
And some of them will make sense for you. Some of them won't make sense for you.
Right. When I was on my way here, I was sitting in the Uber with the sunrise and the mountains, amazing, Marbella views, and
good feeling, right?
Amazing, and feeling on my way here and feeling well prepared.
Yeah.
You know, feeling in flow state.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, you know, before, when people was asking me like, what is your dream with this project? Like, at the beginning, I said 100,000 viewers.
Yeah.
Like just as a number, right? And then I was sitting here in the Uber, and I was like, being able to do this without worrying about the bills.
Yeah.
Like, that's where I'm going now.
Yeah.
That's where I want to be.
Good.
And then from when I achieve that, I will probably make up a new. Hopefully, I will make up a new.
Of course
goal.
you will.
Yeah.
You'll never get happy. You'll never get satisfied.
But it's just so interesting. Just those 24,
you will get happy, sorry,
those 24 hours here, less. I became so much clearer on like the goal, or like what does it look like, this life that I'm trying to create for myself, right?
We also had a good talk yesterday.
Yeah, indeed.
know?
A free coaching session you get when you make podcasts.
So I just gave you little bits and pieces of my brain, and this is what I mean. I plant one little idea in your mind, and you know, when this is so beautiful. when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So yesterday we had a conversation, and I might give you some ideas when you start to change the way you look at things. So when you came here in the taxi, you changed the way you looked at things, and the things you looked at changed.
Yeah.
And that's creation.
Yes, yes, and for me personally, this is a really good example of you cannot see what's coming if you do things like start out the podcast, end up here sitting with you in your great house in Marbella, recording a super interesting episode with you. Like all these things are and all the things that are to come. If it makes sense, like you cannot see it before you start, and then when you start, you will see more and more of that picture.
True. But you can actually be a master in seeing it. So that's what I do with my visualization and my manifestation. I direct my focus and mental images so concrete on what I want in my life, and sooner or later it just happens. It's tricky. It doesn't happen when I want it. I can't control, because time doesn't exist. Time doesn't exist. Time only exists because our brain has the capacity to go back in a stored memory and go forward in a visualized fantasy.
Right.
But actually, time doesn't exist. Think about it. There is no time. There is no time.
Yeah.
The only reason why we think and we have time is because we can memorize and we can fantasize. But the only thing there is here and now it's gone. And then again now, and now it's gone.
Yeah.
But our brain can remember.
Yeah.
So what I do all the time is I try to really, I exercise hardcore my creation every single day. So that I can memorize what it is that I want because I visualized it. And then, my subconscious mind just starts to see the opportunities. It opens up for it.
Yeah.
And that's why, visualization is just a big part of my life.
Yes. And let's talk more about that in a moment when we get to talk about your book. First, I would like to hear your thoughts on, we're both from Denmark, obviously. If you heard it from the beginning, then obviously. Yeah. We are both raised in a culture in Denmark where there is the so-called jante law, or the law of jante in English, which is basically the idea, don't think too much of yourself, be humble, and stick to what you have, and don't be too much in general. For you as a person who's been out there, for you as an entrepreneur who believes you can make whatever you want happen, that's what I hear you say.
Absolutely.
I assume that you are distancing yourself from the law of jante.
Oh yeah, but the law of jante is just bullshit. It has these 10 messages. I'm actually writing about it in my book. And the law of jante is promoting in a disguised form equality, right? We are equal. But actually what it does, it robs you from creativity and ambition, because it tells you can't be different than us. You are nothing smarter than us. You're not better than us. And in the capitalistic system, it only works. I feel the capitalistic system is a modern slavery. That's what I feel. Because you get a salary enough to pay your bills, and then you can take a loan to get stuck in that forever. So you have to go to work. You have to go to work. You have to go to work. And jante law promotes that comfort zone of not stepping outside of the box, and which also correlates to, I believe, in the capitalistic system, that we all need to be a group of people who are the same. We can't be thinkers. We need to be workers, which is also a very big level of comfort, which is the strongest survival mechanism in humans.
Right.
A comfort zone.
Yeah. We talked about yesterday how, as human beings, we are conditioned to stick to the tribe. We are conditioned to belong to a group. That's what we do as humans. And then you can have a society in Denmark where it's more about, you belong by being not too much, being in the middle. And then you have, if you look at the US, I'm not saying one thing is right or wrong here, but I'm just observing in the US where, like, if you are very successful, then you attract people and then you're belonging. So that's a very different way of gaining your tribe. Do you see the same?
Yeah, I do. But the thing is, I really broke up with a lot of belief systems. So I believe, listen, you wake up and you do your fucking best in everything you do.
Right.
Why not? Oh, you get exhausted. So what?
Yeah.
Live life.
Yes.
Take some risk.
Yes.
Do your fucking best. I'm afraid. So what?
Yes.
Do it afraid. And I don't believe in commodity. I respect everyone who wants that. Whatever you choose, I love you. I love you so much. I love you so much. I love people. I love people. I want to love everyone. But I just believe that, you would be better off trying to give it all you got and go for what you want and fail and start again and fail and start again. And there come a point where, because comfort is such a big thing for humans, I call it the comfort crisis. Look, we are in a comfort crisis. Right? Look, we are in 2024. You don't have to go anywhere to get food. You can order it home to your home in the Western countries at least. You don't have to go anywhere to shop your clothing. You can order it straight home. Everything is so comfortable. You sit down, you don't move, you're comfortable. You don't even speak with people. You speak with them online. Everything is so comfortable. It's much easier online to tell a guy, look, you're a fucking prick. All the bad comments I've had online, I've never had a guy telling me that in my face. I bet he won't. I'm 189 and wide shoulders. Tell me in my face I'm a fucking prick. But online, it's so comfortable. And that comfort gives us unhappiness, I believe.
Yeah.
I believe we get so unhappy by staying in the comfort zone because people are more happy when they grow. We are more happy when we grow, right? When we learn something new, when we figure out a new solution, or we have a breakthrough. Don't tell me that people they love breakthroughs, but you won't get any breakthrough in a comfort zone. So,
and what exactly do you mean when you say a breakthrough?
Well, that is a breakthrough is.
What is a break? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, a breakthrough is when you break through an old limiting belief, or let's say now I want to have a day where I feel more confident because I've felt like shit for 2 years ever since my ex broke up with me. Let's take that example, and suddenly you get some coaching. And you wake up and you feel comfortable because you got some coaching. You started with some exercises. Now you start to feel the effect. Oh, wow, I feel the switch. That's a breakthrough. Or you struggle with a podcast for 4 years. And suddenly you just hit it straight up the butt.
Yes.
And you get 100,000 subscribers in 1 week. That's a breakthrough.
Yes.
And we are happier in the pursuit of a breakthrough.
Okay.
Than we are in the fantasy of what we could have been. And listen, this is also quite interesting. When we get old, physically old, mentally as old as you do, you make yourself, but when you're physically old, laying in your bed 1 week before you're going to die because you're old, what are you going to think? I thought about that. What am I going to think? And I know myself because if right now in my life, if there is an opportunity that I really wanted and for somehow I missed it, I'm a little regretful. You can time that with 1,000 when I'm 87 or 90 or 100, and I can't fucking do it. It's now I'm gonna die. That was it. That was it. All the people I should have told that I love, all the people I should have walked as a good example for, all the travels at the beaches I was gonna visit with my kid. I'm going to regret that. I don't want that. I don't want that. So, I really believe that living life to the fullest and do it in periods. Sometimes you are all in and sometimes you relax. Sometimes you're all in, sometimes you relax. But the majority of people I meet who get, these older people they're just angry at the world. They're the ones who never realize their dreams. And they start to judge others like the way they judge themselves.
So that strong willpower of yours, where you want to live a life you don't regret, does that come from having regrets already when you look back?
It's a great question. It just comes from it's a process of life, and I believe there's two types of people. Of course, there's not, but I believe there's two types of people. There are those who wake up and they go for the bare minimum. And then there's those who wake up and they go for the fucking maximum. And I believe you get more life experience and adventures on number two. You get more stories. So what do you have in the end, when you're on your deathbed? What do you have? You have stories. I remember the time I was there with Sylvester and he fucking recorded it and it got erased, but we did it again.
Yeah, we did it again.
We live with stories. And so I wanna have a story, I wanna tell myself when I'm on the deathbed, and that is, did I live, did I love, did I matter?
Did I live? Did I love? Did I matter?
Yeah, I got that from my coach, Brendan Bouchard. And that's so beautiful. And I want to live. I want to love. I want to matter. I don't give a shit about failing. I don't care. It's a part of it. You gotta fail to learn. And you better fail fast. And you better fail hard. And get back up. And that's just the life I chose to live. It's a more intense life. But it gives me so many stories.
Yeah.
And I go through all my emotions so often, and I feel life.
Yeah.
I am life.
Yeah.
And I have the opportunity to it. Like, we live in a safe world, man. I'm never gonna worry about food. I'm always gonna have food. Seriously. I'm never gonna worry about a place to sleep. I'm safe. I'm safe. I'm not gonna fucking play it safe when I'm safe. Because I'm so safe. So I wanna experience life. I want to face myself. I want to look myself in the mirror and say, oh, you were afraid there, but you know what? You did it anyway. That's the type of guy I want. That's just a decision I made. Because I get more experience, I get more stories.
Right. And as humans, we are making sense of the world by telling stories. Both of our past, trying to make meaning of the past, what we've been through, to look ahead. But also when we are, tapping into the life we want to live. And I know one of the stories you've been telling a lot about yourself and been meditating, if I understand it right, is that you're a disciplined guy who gets things done.
Say again, I'm a disciplined guy?
You're a disciplined guy who gets things done.
Yeah, I am, and I create that. I create that. And I figured out something, I've coached a lot of people in my life. And when you on the good side of 5,000, I probably hit 6,000 now. And you start to see trends, both in yourself. When you coach people, you see something in yourself as well. I learn something every time I coach people. And what I see is that you won't get anything done, like real shit done, without commitment and integrity. So the three things that I have a seminar now that I'm going on a world tour to talk about, which is called I Am.
Okay.
I Am. Because who you decide to be is going to be your biggest creation. And to be something, you need to commit to it. To create something, you need to commit to it. So I'll give you a good example. So you have a person. I coached a lot of people. In 2 years, I was helping people with lifestyle changes. That was when I started softly out as a coach. And I gave them a diet plan, and I made it simple. And I gave them a workout scheme. They didn't eat the diet plan. They didn't go to the gym. Why not? They're not committed. They're not committed. Yeah. I put a gun to your head and I say, lose the fucking 20 kilos. Yeah. Or I kill your daughter. Yeah. This is a very dramatic example. Now you're gonna move. So I got interested in how do I flip that switch on people? Right. How do I flip that? Because the person comes to me, I want to lose weight. Well, you don't fucking act like it. Yes. So you don't really want it. Yeah. You want to be in comfort. So I need to find ways to flip that switch. Right. And that made me aware of my own disabilities and my commitment. So I decided to be a light for people. So I decided to live my words.
And yesterday we talked about, and I want to have this into the conversation today because I thought it was such an interesting point. We talked about stress, and you reacted a lot when we talked about, like you said, if you say you're stressed, I'm gonna smack you, something like that. You said, and then you said, I'm not gonna smack you. But
no,
anyway.
Of course, never.
And then we talked about stress, and I was questioning to challenge you. I was questioning if being exhausted, being stressed is a limiter of living out your potential. And you said, if I put a gun to your head, I'm sure you can still show up.
Of course.
And I said, yeah, sure, absolutely. And then I was asking you about your own burnout experience. You're sitting in an airplane. You're out there building Minto globally, and you're sitting on an airplane. And if I understand the story, if I remember it correctly, you simply forget where you're going. Yeah. And you forget where you take off from.
Yeah.
and I ask you, Mike, would you say the solution to that is pointing a gun to your head in that situation?
Yeah, because it will make me think of something else. Because I was in that flight, and I was overwhelmed by all the work I've been doing for such a long time and all the thoughts I didn't treat, and I was in a negative spiral of thoughts. If a bomb has been thrown off, I would forget all my thoughts for that moment and only focus on one thing: live. Would that have spiked my cortisol and all the physical responses? Yeah, definitely. That's stress. But my thoughts of stress triggers the same biochemistry reactions in my body. So what I told you yesterday was, I would definitely have said, put a gun to my head, that will change my mind. Of course, because nothing else matters more than surviving as a human. I wouldn't do that in a medical lab or in a psychological practice, but the theory would be it, because you have to understand what stress is. Stress is a response for survival. So we have gotten stress signals, which is a quick switch to make you super alert, make you super strong, make you super fast. And if you get bitten, well, your blood is at your big organs and it's getting thick. So it's a physical survival mechanism. But if a guy comes from the back and puts a gun to your head from the back and you don't see him and he shoots you, you won't get stressed. But you were in as much danger. So you can only get stress off what you see.
Yeah.
So it's a thought. You think yourself into it. So when I'm sitting in this flight and I'm having this experience and I'm overwhelmed, I got an idea of what stress is. I got an idea, like you have. The media has painted this shit all over. You have people coming with simple symptoms that is just, they haven't slept for a couple of days, or they haven't been eating right, or they've been in a negative environment for a while. But the idea of what stress is and what the symptoms are, you start to treat yourself mentally. And the idea of what stress can do to you and limit you from, that's also a bad thinking, which gives you more stress. So I'm sitting in this flight, I forget where I'm flying to, and suddenly I fucking forget where I'm flying from. My brain said, you're stressed. I didn't know, maybe I just had memory loss. So I didn't know, I'm not a doctor, I'm not inside my body. I'm just guessing. But that thought gave me panic attack. Because, oh my God, in a moment I started that thought in that flight, I was thinking, my life is over. Because here comes all the ideas I've gotten somewhere from. I didn't know. Oh my God. Because if I didn't know stress, I would just think, oh shit, I just forgot. You understand? So I wouldn't be going down that lane of negative thinking. But I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, oh my God, I got stress. Shit, that means I can't work. My dream is stopped, and I just went crazy in my mind. And that gave me more stress.
So if you should give yourself an advice today, that Mike sitting in that airplane, what would you tell him?
Calm the fuck down. Calm the fuck down. You just have a memory loss. Get some more sleep. Think about your diet. Get some friends. Relax.
Okay.
You don't have stress. Stress doesn't exist. You're overwhelmed. Your body can react in a stressful way, yes, and you can also be overly exhausted. And again, I'm controversial here. So this is just my idea, okay? Because, I'm educated within NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. I read so many books. I've studied so many people. I've cured people with stress in 2 hours. Just by giving them new ways of thinking. Because you think yourself into it. So my advice would be, I would say, listen, I would come to Mike, stress doesn't exist. There's no such thing. You're overwhelmed, you have memory loss, calm the fuck down. Now go to that country and do what you gotta do, and start to figure out how to get your breaks in. Break down, sleep. So your body can relax. That's what I would have said to him.
Okay.
You're not stressed.
Interesting. It's a subject that I'm far from expert in, so I'm not gonna
me also. I'm also far from expert.
I'm not gonna pretend to be an expert on it, but I think it's really interesting to hear your take on it.
It's just a different take.
And also, we talked about how you're telling yourself stories and how you are telling yourself the story of being the guy who is disciplined and getting things done. Now today you live in Spain, which is culturally quite different from both Denmark and the US, and I don't know where else you lived. I just know you lived in 8 countries.
Yeah.
Would you say that being this disciplined entrepreneurial guy who gets things done, who achieves, do you feel like it's challenging to be in a Spanish, we call it mañana mañana environment, meaning that like there is also a day tomorrow, we'll figure it out, everything will be okay?
No, you can put me anywhere because I am who I am. The environment doesn't dictate me. It's just much more cool to be disciplined here.
Yes.
You know, I told you yesterday as well. I rather want to run in this weather than I want to run in the rain. It's actually less. I need less discipline here.
Yeah, yeah.
So who I am is not dictated by you, my environment, my anyone. I decide who I'm going to be. There might be things I believe I still am, which is underlying thoughts from way back from my childhood. I'm working with them because I'm the complete creator of my mind. So being in Spain and being disciplined, well, funny story, of course, you know, you wake up or you want to have a coffee 5 o'clock somewhere, nothing is open.
Yeah.
So you got to have your own coffee machine.
I had this problem this morning.
Yeah, they open up at 11, you know.
What the fuck?
And the customer service is different and so on. But me as a disciplined person, no. I'm disciplined wherever you put me. I have integrity wherever you put me. I'm committed wherever I say.
Yeah.
What I say, I do.
And I'm going to challenge you here because I know you also preach or talk about the fact that you become like the people you surround yourself with. So now you're here in these surroundings with maybe you told me maybe Marbella, where we are right now, is different because it also has a quite great entrepreneurial and fitness scene. But you become like the people you surround yourself with, and now you're in this environment of, I would say, temptations and maybe more mañana compared to a lifestyle in New York, London, or wherever you go. But still, you feel like you stay the same.
I don't hang around with mañana.
No.
I find the people who is like me. I find people I look up to. I find people with my values. I don't hang around with mañana. I don't hang around with people without integrity. I don't hang around with liars. I don't hang around with party fucking freaks. I don't, when I say party fucking freaks, I mean, there's a lot of them down here.
Yeah.
And, you know, I love them, I respect them, but I'm not a part of it.
Right.
So I choose who I'm hanging with. And there's plenty of great people down here, but, you know, it doesn't mean I never party. I can go out and I can have fun, you know, but 80% of the time I'm on my way.
Yeah.
So you're right. I'm in an environment where there is a lot of different personalities, like there is in Copenhagen, like there is in Madrid. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
But I decide who I'm hanging with.
Yes.
And also I decide, I can go to a dinner table, of course. I'm not like this, I'm excluding people. No, I love to meet people. But I'm a guard of my own mind. So if a person have a very, very strong opinion, well, I'm not accepting it in my mind. That doesn't mean I'm going to argue with him. Okay, well, that's interesting. I never thought about it like that, I say. That's a new perspective. So I respect people's opinions, but I don't let it in. So I know who I am because I read that loud to myself every morning, and I pretend to be that all day long, and I read that loud to myself every evening, and I command myself who I want to be. I'm so disciplined there.
And that makes me think of the way that you talk about how you choose your people, how you choose who you are connecting with.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make this question 2 ways.
Yeah.
Like I want to talk about loneliness, and I want to talk loneliness in the sense of that moving abroad, flying around the world to open new departments of Minto. I could assume that will also put you into some lonely hotel rooms.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then another thing I want to talk about is how personally I feel the more I choose to grow, the more I go down the self-development path, then on the short term I choose loneliness because I have to kind of adjust my circumstances to the person I want to be.
Yeah.
Can you relate to these 2 kinds of loneliness?
Yeah, I can absolutely. I think I learned there's a difference from being alone and feeling lonely. So I was feeling lonely because I didn't like myself. I was not in peace with my thoughts, and I didn't connect with everyone because I was so afraid of connecting. I didn't even know what connection was. So I could be in a room full of people, I would still be lonely because I wasn't connecting. So today I am alone a lot. I rather want to be alone that I wanna hang around with people to entertain me all the time. So I have started to really enjoy myself and be with silence. It's a huge exercise. And I enter the world of silence at least 1 or 2 times a day in the form of meditation. I don't have to sit down like a guru. I can just sit and enjoy my silence inside, down at the beach, listen to the birds, see my thoughts, what's going on. You know, I'm not judging them. I'm just, so I connect with that, and I'm never lonely. I'm never lonely, man.
That's interesting.
I'm never lonely because I connected to something I call the higher self. I love to hang around people. I'm very extrovert and I meet people all the time, but I was meeting people all the time when I was traveling, but I was lonely. So it's not about who you meet, it's who you are inside. And, you know, I'm a powerhouse, you know, I'm brilliant, I'm a fucking manifester. I speak like that to myself. I'm loving, you know.
After my personal experience, after I moved abroad, after I first moved to Barcelona, then to Madrid, and both times started all over without knowing anybody, you know, I saw those weeks, those months, how much I read, how much I wrote, how much I performed or produced. And then now I'm at the point where I'm like, I need to schedule every second weekend just to be me, or to be into my books or my reading or preparing podcasts. Yeah, but you know,
every day.
If I'm too busy every weekend, then I know I will not get my things done, and I would not have figured that out if I didn't try those periods of being.
Why don't you do that you like it?
Not all the time, but I love intensity, and then, you know, I want to go out there and meet people.
But what about every day? Just spend 1 hour.
Oh yeah, I do that.
Okay.
I do that daily.
But I understand what you mean. It's good to retreat a little bit. But
what I'm saying is just, if I was just living my default path in Denmark, then every weekend with this friend or my family or whatever, like I would never have a weekend where I didn't make plans. But then I experienced having those weekends by living abroad, and I was like, oh, I need that as a part of my life.
We need that, man. We need to be with ourselves, and this is also what I see again. We become a product of our culture. We become a product of our environment. We become a product of everything else than me. Then who am I then? All of you? I'm not all of you. I'm me. I do what's best for me. I will never hurt anyone. I will never talk bad about anyone. You know, I really discipline myself there. But I allow myself to be me. And who I want to be, I don't need your acceptance to like me. I don't need nothing. I am me and who I choose to be. And that I've learned, it took me many years to learn that. Because I have friends that says, oh, I'm busy. I'm asking them, are you happy? It takes brass balls to step out of that, you know. It takes balls to stay. It doesn't need to have balls, but it takes courage to step out and say, this is who I am. Hate me or love me. It's up to you. It's just your opinion. It has nothing to do with me. You know? And that is, for me, a big strength. You know, I've gone through some hectic periods in my life. Lately, I've gone through a period of separating with the mother to my child. You know, she's 9 months old, you know, and that was supposedly to be extremely tough. It was tough. But I found peace in it, you know? And I figured out what's the most important thing here. That is to send out peace and love and harmony. My daughter, she needs to have peace, love, and harmony. Everything for her. It's not my ego. It's not about my ego. We can go into a discussion. No. What do you need, sweet mama? What do you need? Okay, here you take that, you take that, you take that. Of course, there was a period where we were emotional, but I was quickly out of it. And I find peace in it. Everything happens for a reason. And everything you meet in your life is a lesson you can now act different on. It's endless possibilities out there. And when I started to see that, you know, life became so interesting.
Right.
So interesting. You know, we're sitting right here, right now, Sylvester. You can have one thought that will change your entire life. One thought. That's how the possibilities are. It's endless. And when you start to see that, your life becomes different.
When was the last time you had that experience of one thought that changed your life?
I have that every day.
Every day?
Every day.
Okay.
Yeah, every day.
Okay.
Because I create my life. Yeah.
And talking about creating your life.
Yeah. Oh.
We have to talk about Amazon bestseller, international bestseller.
International bestseller. Number 1 in Sweden yesterday.
Above Average, The Science of Achievement by Mike Radoor.
Yeah.
or Mike Radoor.
Yeah, that's
we
fine.
go to it.
Mike Radoor.
I'm really excited to dig into this book more.
Yeah.
Read it briefly,
Yeah.
and I'm already feeling the inspiration from it.
Oh,
so
yeah, really?
Go get it. But first of all, Mike, why did you write Above Average?
I wrote it in an accident. It was. You call it serendipity. It was a serendipity. And I was supposed to write an ebook, which was to be a lead generating strategy for our online marketing team. And they asked me to write a book right when my daughter was born, and I started writing in the morning, and you know, it just flew out of me. And before I looked around, I had 10,000 words, and I was like, that's not going to be an ebook. This is legacy. So I called the marketing department and said, guys,
how much is 10,000 words in pages?
Well, this book is 47,000 words.
Okay.
So it's around 1/5,
okay.
right? So this one is 200 pages, right? So, but what I wrote was not even an ebook is short formats and quick solutions. This was long stories I was writing. And I called them and said, guys, I'm writing a book. We're going to the moon. Get ready. I'm like that. My team, they think I'm fucking crazy. I'm also a little crazy. So we're going to go for the moon. This is going to be a good book. And so the reason why I wrote it is because I had something to say. My first book I wrote was because I had something to prove. And that was a harder book. The relationship with that writing process was much worse than this one. And this book I wrote in 1.5 months. And I think I know I wrote it because I want to give people the gift of understanding that you can create who you want to be in every moment. And I wanted to give people the black and white picture of my experience. Again, this is just my ideas. You know, there's no facts in this book. There's just my truth. And the difference from an above average mind and an average and below average mind. Now people will come and say, "Hey, how dare you?" But listen, it's just a mathematical equation. You take 100 people, those who are the majority who has the same attitude and same this, that's the average. So above average are those who are in a different mind and the minority. So I wanted to show people how an above average mind think, how an above average mind approach a day, and what they actually do, so you can get that recipe into your system yourself. So I've had so many people in my coaching career when I started to see where is it everyone is falling short, and that's the belief systems. That's our underlying thoughts. If you take a seed of a strawberry down to the soil, well, if you're wishing for a banana plant to come up, you're fucking crazy. Because you plant a seed of strawberry, of course strawberries comes up. That's the law of physics. That's the law of nature. The same goes with your thoughts. So many people think they can just, goals are great. Affirmations are powerful. But they are very little effective if they are built on top of a negative thought. So I'll give you a good example. If I have a belief or a seed of a belief in my system that women are terrible, it's going to be very hard for me to build a relationship on top of that. Right? And if I have a belief that I'm not worth success, it's going to be very difficult to build a success on top of that. So I'm giving people the recipe to change the perspective. And I give them concrete exercises to train this into their system. And it's a call to action book. And I wrote it because I want people to have the opportunity to live the life to the fullest and give it all they got without believing in burning out. I've never seen a kid burn out by doing what they love endlessly. When I was a kid, remove me from my Lego, I was like, why? Why? But Mike, you sat there now for 9 hours. Yeah, I love it. I was never burned out. I got more burned out by doing the dishes and all the shit I didn't like. Oh, I'm so tired. So again, look at this energy. Find something that you love to do. Your energy is, it's untapped, unbelievable. It's unlimited. Now do something that you don't like. See how much energy you have. You see? So you see a guy. Okay, now he has to clean up all the food he did for all the guests. I do it tomorrow. Now the friends is calling him. You want to go out? Yeah! Energy changes. So I teach people to do what they love. Find something you love, man, and you will find so much growth in it. But so many people don't believe they're capable of doing it. It's just an illusion. You have 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 eyes, 1 nose, 1 mouth, and a brain. And your brain is plastic. It changes. Your neurons that fire together wire together. A new thought creates a new pattern in your brain. So I give them a manual to reprogram their thinking and a clear call to action on top of it.
And the beginning of the book is all about mindset and how you can make your mind work for you, not against you. Manifestation included. If I say magic or science about manifestation, what do you say?
Manifestation is just the truth. So first we have to figure out what is science. What is science? Science is a framework of evidence that we have chosen should be the things we can prove. So when Einstein came with his theory and he completely destroyed Isaac Newton's theories, until Einstein came, we all believed in Isaac Newton's theories, which is a more a singular way of viewing it, where Einstein opened up for the quantum physics. Well, the quantum physics has always existed, but now science could prove it. So now it was there. So manifestation is you getting a thought and acting on it. That is manifestation. So that's the truth. That's how everything in the world is created. Look at Elon Musk. Look how he creates. He doesn't give a flying fuck about. There's nothing impossible for him. Okay, he got in and he figured out that he had to buy some rocket ships, and you're like, oh my God, that's so expensive. We're gonna build a rocket ship ourselves. Let's figure out what they're built of. So he's figuring out solutions, and that's manifestation. So science is great, but it's facts. And there was a lady who told me once, don't give me the facts, give me the truth, because the facts are always changing. And the truth is you have unlimited potential. Look at the world today versus the world 200 years ago. They wouldn't believe us at that time. So it's just up to our consciousness, to what we can create. You can tap into everything. I believe that we can move objects. Because that's the quantum physics that actually tells us we can do that. We can move matter. We can change matter with our mind. That's what quantum physics is proposing. We just haven't gotten to the end equation. So our framework of singularity, 1 + 1 is 2. But there's nothing. I believe it's all endless. We just don't know how to tap into it yet.
I think many people have tried the experience of feeling high for whatever reason, and then they walk into a room full of people, and people can just feel you. People can you attract so much easily, or you have this aura in English, aura around you. And I also personally believe that we are way more connected than we scientifically understand today. Like, I think in 1,000 years, when they look back on us, they will be like, oh my God, they had no clue how 100 years.
Every 100 years we think we were stupid.
They will think they didn't understand how they're connected. They did, like Sylvester didn't understand how his energy when he show up with Mike Radoor will influence the conversation they have together and so on. We talked about yesterday, I think you said something like, if you can feel it, then fuck the science.
Yeah, so I said there's an old saying that says, whatever I see, I forget. What I hear, I remember. What I do, I know. So when you put on a virtual reality machine on your head, and let's say you're scared of heights, and now there's a game where you go up 200 floors, and there's this very skinny metal thing that goes out 5 meters out, and you have to go out and balance on that. If you're scared of heights, you'll shit yourself on the living room floor, because your subconscious mind is so in the belief of that now you're up there. Because most of your senses, your eye senses and your hearing senses, they are activated. That creates a feeling, and that feeling ignites a chemical response in your body. So now your subconscious mind believe that you are up there, but you're just on your living room floor. So that's what I mean. That when a thought and a feeling is connected, your subconscious brain cannot tell the difference from reality and fantasy. So that's why they say, whatever you believe, you can conceive. As a man thinketh in his heart, so he is. So you are what you believe. And here's a proof. So my dad is, I love my dad. He's the one who taught me most about love. But my dad is born with a schizophrenic paranoia. He believes people are standing outside the door looking in the tit hole, He believes that. And everything in his body is reacting to it. He believes sometimes there is, happens something really bad to me because I don't answer for 3 hours. He goes through that scenario in his mind, and all his chemical process in the body says Mike is dead or Mike is something. But I'm just in my living room, tired, or reading a book. But for him, it's real. And whatever is real for you, you will act on. So I just chose, because I have a choice. I will choose to believe in the impossible. I will choose to believe in everything is possible. I believe to choose, and I choose to believe in these things. And my life is just interesting from that perspective. So I manifest. So this book, I documented on my YouTube. I said, follow my journey to an international best-selling book. And people, they're like, fuck, is this guy crazy? Well, 3 months later, it is. Then ask me, how did that happen? Well, if I didn't believe it, it wouldn't happen. So you tell me, how did I do it? Well, I just did what I had to do to get it there. And that's it. And the next book, and I also tell everyone, I will be one of the biggest ones standing on the biggest stages in the world, because that's what I want. And I already seen it. I felt how it is. I sit in my car, I put on a great song, and I see how I will go out on a stage and 10,000 people will be clapping their hands, and I'm there to contribute with my knowledge. And I see it. It's just not in my physical world, but I've always seen it. I feel it. And that's the way I'm going. Yeah.
A part of your writing and a part of what you talk a lot about on social media and on your when you speak is goal setting.
Yeah.
Why is it important to have a specific goal?
Well, important is a good. So it might not be important for you, but I would say if you want to go anywhere in your life, you have goals. You already have goals. You have goals programmed so deeply into you that your goal is maybe just to be mediocrity. That's your goal, because that's your safe zone, because that's what you grew up in. So because you are unconscious incompetent, you don't know that you don't know. So if you grew up in a family where internet was not existing and your family were carpenters, you will become a carpenter because that's all you believe you can become. So that was a time in history of mankind that we only became what our parents was, because that was the general belief that that's what we were capable of. Until we started to open up for educational systems and you can be who you want and so on. So that possibility has always been there, but you were trapped in your own belief system. So a goal is important to choose consciously to direct you in the way of life you want. If you ask people without goals, they would run around like the wind will take them. And the wind is the emotions. Your emotions will take you where you go. And I figured that if I can build empowering beliefs towards my goal, I will get it. And that's why I believe goal setting is important. I see so many people wanting, I believe most people want to be wealthy, healthier, and happier. That's what I believe. That's the majority of people. That's why people, they play the lotto. But if people knew the statistics of lotto or lottery, the statistics of lottery is so ridiculously low, but the hope of winning is so big that they keep playing it. They're better off waking up every day and do what they need to do to get where they want to go. But it's so uncomfortable for them to wake up and do stuff that might be resistant in or friction in, that it's easier to play lottery and be in that belief or that hope. Hope is everything, and
but you also sometimes you mention that it's important to set scary big goals.
Yes.
And I have adapted to it. I'm not as, I would say, I'm not as extreme.
Why not?
As you. I'll get to that.
But let's take it now. That's good. Why not? Why are you not extreme?
I'm more comfortable.
And why is it important for you to say that you're not extreme? Why are you afraid of being extreme? What can happen? What can happen? Because you are holding yourself off of being
don't
extreme.
You agree?
I'm just. This is good. I just want to know. So you because you said to me.
Yeah, we talked about yesterday that for me, for instance, it's more. I have a better conversation with myself if I start aiming for 100K a year, which is more than I make currently.
Why not 100 million? Can you find a why?
So the next thought coming to my mind is potential disappointment.
Yes, correct. Fear.
Yeah.
Your fear of not getting what you want, or maybe be humiliated, or being stupid of thinking that. It's just a thought. What if I could change your perspective, saying, have fun with it, go for it, laugh off yourself, try again. Who gives a shit? People don't care. People really don't care. They're so busy in their own mind about think what they think of themselves. But you think that people will judge you and you will be a failure, and that's so difficult. But understand, failing is a part of life. If you don't fail, you won't succeed. Every person with success has failed so extremely much.
Mike, if I set a goal that's scary big to me,
Yeah.
and I feel the first thought coming is, oh no, I will be disappointed if I don't become a billionaire.
Yeah.
Is that a wrong thought to have?
No, I don't know. There's no wrong thoughts. But does that thought take you where you want to go?
It protects me. It
For
protects me from being disappointed.
But is that a protection? What is disappointment?
That's
Another thought.
What you've experienced and how your experience differ from reality, I think.
Got it. So let me change your perspective. So does the end result that you get dictate who you are? Or does the process of you doing to get what you want dictate who you are?
The process.
Good. So why are you so connected to the end game? You're so connected to the end game. You'll see tennis players destroying their rackets because they are connected to the end result. And you see tennis players that loses and they go straight back and they learn. They are connected to the game. And the game is you win some, you lose some.
Yeah.
But you come out stronger and you can learn.
Right.
And human beings, we are learning. We're learning constantly. Life is a big journey of teaching ourselves life. So if you limit yourself from the biggest teachings there is, which is suffering and pain, you're not living life.
Right. So let me challenge you. Do you have a number in your mind for how wealthy you want to be?
1.3 billion.
1.3 billion in what amount of time?
10 years.
Okay. Why not 5 billion?
Because I said that number, I thought that was feeling good.
That was feeling good.
Yeah.
Okay.
It came to my mind and I said it. Okay, that sounds good.
Okay.
Let's go for it.
Okay.
Yeah, seriously.
1.3? Really?
Yeah, 1.3 billion.
That's decent. I'll call you.
That's a good amount, right? Dollars.
Yeah. Not bad. Not too bad.
Yeah, I want that.
When do you have that?
10 years.
10 years?
Yeah.
You sure?
If I'm sure?
Yeah.
I'm convicted. I'm convinced, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it feels good to say it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
1.3 billion. Sounds good. That'll be nice. Yeah.
That's a lot of opportunities. It's a lot of freedom.
It's a lot of bigger thinking. So I won't get it with the mind I have now. So I need to expand my mind. I need to do things that is on a bigger scale than I do now. Yeah.
If I said 1.3, then I just hear your voice saying, why not more?
Yeah, but that was just a number I locked myself into.
Okay.
So and I focus on that number.
Okay.
Yeah.
For somebody to make that kind of goal, well, should you just make a goal you think sounds good, or should it be scary?
No, but this is my visionary goal. So to get 1.3 billion, I need to cut it down, and say, okay, what do I need to make this year and this year, next year, next year? So I take it step by step. So you go far out in the future, and out there you have no idea how.
Right.
It's never about the how. The how you'll figure out. It's about where and why. And 1.3 billion would give me the leverage I need to give so much in charity that I would love life. I think I will spend the half of my life to get very wealthy and the last half of my life to give it all away.
Can you elaborate that point, that it's not about how, it's about where and what?
Yeah, it's not about how, it's about where and why. Because when have you ever knew how? Every single time. You didn't. You had to figure it out on your way, right? You don't know how to build a good podcast right now. If you knew, you would have it. So it's not about the how, it's about where and why. The rest you'll figure out. But people, they stop acting because they don't know how, which is so paradoxal. I don't know how. I didn't know how to write a best-selling book. But I can try with one sentence, and then the next, and then the next, and then the next. I didn't know how to market this book. Okay.
And what was did you know your where and your what?
I knew my where and why, yeah. So I wanted to write an international best-selling book. And why? Because I want as many people I can touch to inspire them. My life purpose is to inspire millions of people around the world to break free from their limiting beliefs and live the life of their dreams. It sounds so cliche, but it's so true.
That's a great purpose. Sounds good.
It feels good to wake up. That's my purpose. That's why I'm here. I meet a person in the gas station. I talk with them. I engage with them. I high-five them. Everyone I meet.
Yeah. And a note here is also maybe that if your goal or your purpose sounds like cliche, like it doesn't matter. Like
It doesn't matter.
No, it's just whatever feels right.
That's what you think.
For you, right?
Yeah, correct.
A great part of not only above average is a great part of performance is also about behavioral design and feedback loops, which you also talk about. Journaling, reflecting, understanding why or how did you or did you not achieve XYZ?
Yeah.
Right. So I understand that you set an intention for the day, for the week, for the month, for the year, and then throughout that period you ongoing do reflecting, journaling, trying to cover what you do and what you don't do.
Yeah.
To understand your behavior. I don't know many people who journal, but I began doing it after following you, and I can tell from my experience, journaling is sometimes a difficult conversation with myself, because that's also the moment where I say, okay, I went out that night, I got drunk, and the day after I couldn't do what I told my intention to do, but then at least I have that conversation with myself. You know, I have that honest conversation with myself.
That's good.
Okay, now I was not able to do X, Y, Z because I made other decisions. Would you say that's the point of the journaling?
No, I think the point of journaling is for you becoming aware of how you think. Because when you can think about what you think about, you can grow higher than your environment. Otherwise, you think and you do.
When you can think what you think about, you can grow higher.
You can grow more, because now you can change.
Right.
So you can't change if you immediately believe in your thoughts. So journaling is a way of you to get more self-aware. So for you to really access what I call your higher self, it takes two things. It takes self-awareness and discipline. And self-awareness is journaling. That's a good way of doing it.
Right.
Become more aware. Aware.
Did you always do journal?
No, I didn't. It's something I started doing the last 6 years.
Okay.
And I don't journal every single day. But I do it in my mind now. I sit with the silence, and I don't judge myself anymore. If I judge myself, I forgive myself for judging myself being that, and I go straight back to the declaration of who I am. Because I decide who I want to create. And my journaling, if I do it, what I do is I journal on every Sunday. I reflect back on the week I've had, what I've done, what I could have done better, what needs to change next week, and what I'm grateful for, and what my priorities are. That's what I do every single week, for sure.
Yes, non-negotiable.
Yeah, non-negotiable. I do that all the time, because it's a feedback loop.
Yeah.
It's my time to learn.
Yeah.
It's me learning with myself.
Yes.
I'm a constant student. I'm a student.
Yeah.
Every day I meet you, I'm a student with you.
Yeah.
When you ask me a question, I'm thinking, wow, that was a good question.
And it sounds like the feedback loop that you have developed is also something you was taught from your mentors early on.
Yeah, my mentors taught me how to think. Because men simply don't think.
Yeah.
We don't think. And when I taught myself how to think, I could. So, look at this. You have a behavior that you're not aware of, but you do it all the time. But try to put your finger on your nose. You can't barely see it, right, when it's here. So the journaling is you doing this. Now you can see it. You can only change things you can see. So you got to bring things into your consciousness. And that's what journaling can do. At some point you're like, why am I thinking this? That's a great question.
So for somebody who's not journaling, for somebody who doesn't have that habit, what do they then miss out on?
I don't know. It all comes down to, I don't give people these tips and tricks in my coaching sessions. I work a lot about who they want to be. What do they want? Tell me what you want, and I'm sure we're going to get it, we're going to create it. I tell everyone that. And you will only create what you want by being the one you need to be for that creation to happen. So I teach people to choose their being. Who do I need to be a more effective person? Who do I need to be to build a level of confidence that is remarkable? Who do I need to be in love with myself and my life?
Yeah.
Because in the being, that's who you are. So I choose in every thought, I over dramatize this, but I choose my being in every situation. Who do I need to be in this situation? Who do I need to be for you?
Yeah.
And I play a role. Everything is a role.
Yeah.
Then people say, oh, then you're fake. Well, you're fake. You just believe that you're real.
Yeah.
Everything is a role. I just choose my own roles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I have this big question, and then you also got yesterday, and that's related to top performance, related to becoming above average. And since have studied this topic so much, since you have been living a life above average for many years now, what my question?
Sounds crazy, right?
Right. But stating the facts, what is something you know about human potential that you wish everybody knew?
It's unlimited. Human potential is unlimited. Like you're a proof of that. Why? Because you are not aiming big goals because of a thought. A thought. You can't touch it. It's not in your face. There's no wall. So if I remove your fear, is your potential bigger? No. Your concept of your potential is bigger, but your potential has always been unlimited. Your potential is unlimited. You can go out and build a car factory shop. You can go out and build a multi-billion-dollar business.
Okay, I'm going to challenge you. If
Please.
I say I want to become the president of the United States,
yes,
what do you say?
Go for it. Who do you need to be to start that process? And then you sit with that and you think what comes up. Well, you definitely have to live in America, don't you?
That's a good start.
So you go there. Step one.
Okay.
And then next.
And
then next. And then next.
And then next.
And then next. And then next. And then next. And then next. And then next. And then next. And then next. And suddenly you are. If you really fucking want it. If you commit 100%, with 100% integrity, then watch it.
And where is circumstances, where is luck in this equation?
Luck is not something that exists. Luck is just you seeking opportunities, so you suddenly start to see them in the right timing, in the right moment, but they are always there, you just don't see them. But you got to put yourself in an environment of possibilities.
Okay.
That's what I say.
Nice. Mike, we also talked about the fact that, and that's again a fact, this morning I came and you've just been in a session with 100 people that you are having these coaching sessions with. Many people look up to you, many people admire you. What is something you're insecure about?
Yeah, you asked me that yesterday as well.
Yeah.
I'm generally, with the hand of my heart, I'm not insecure about anything, but I do have insecure thoughts that is so deeply rooted in me back from my childhood that I'm working on. And something I can be insecure about in a thought, which I eliminate right away, and I forgive myself for judging myself to be that, is if I'm gonna make it. Am I gonna make it? So that's an insecurity that comes. But that's just a thought that has a legacy of a lot of thoughts and emotions with it, which I don't allow to live in me for a long time. So I'm not insecure about anything in general, but I do have thoughts of insecurities. Like anyone else, I just choose not to believe in them as soon as I become aware of them. But some of them are so deeply rooted in me that I can sit and I can think about it. You probably know it when you get worried, right? You get an email from the Danish tax authorities and you're insecure now if you did it right. And now you're insecure about how much you're going to pay. And now you start to think about that insecurity and it grows in you, right? Do you understand what I mean? Mm-hmm. I just eliminate it right away. And I choose what I want to think. So I don't sit with my insecurities for too long.
Okay.
Which makes me not insecure.
Is there a protocol for this?
Well, first you have to become aware. So let's say you have a girlfriend. She has a behavior. She has come home every night 7 o'clock. And if she doesn't come home 7 o'clock, she gives you a text when she's home. One day you didn't hear from her, it's 8 o'clock. Based on your ideas of what she is going through, will dictate your vision of what she's going through. The majority of men will probably be insecure, and 9 o'clock, no answer. 10 o'clock, no answer. The majority of men will definitely think she doesn't like you anymore. She comes home, her hair is all messy. What could that be? Well, a man who has been going through legit relationship issues where women has probably cheated on him, that would be his first reference point. And all his energy is about to fucking yell at her and say, well, how dare you, blah, blah, blah. And she says, I was in a traffic accident. So, you got to choose your thoughts. You really got to choose your thoughts. And you got to work with those deeply rooted thoughts that doesn't serve you. And that's where insecurities comes from. I choose to believe in everything is possible and everything is good. I say that's good for everything. So if something happens to me that hurts in the moment, I say that's good. It happened for a reason. It happened for a reason. There's something I need to learn here. That's a nice way of living. That's a foundational belief I have. That everything happens for a reason. Even our podcast yesterday, that was a reason for that. So we have an opportunity again to do it in another way that would serve people better. That's a nice life. Everything happens for a reason. Yeah.
Beautiful. My last question on this podcast is always, where do you see yourself in 2 years from now? We already talked a little bit about it, but you gave me another answer yesterday. So I'm going to ask you again, where do you see yourself in 2 years from now?
Yeah, in 2 years from now, I live in America. I have my second book out as an international bestseller, New York Times bestseller. And I am working with some of the greatest in the industries, and I'm standing on some of the biggest stages in America, speaking to people.
Cool. Do you already know how you're going to get there?
No. I have no fucking idea.
People have to follow you.
Yeah.
To see how you get there.
Yeah, but I have no idea, but I create it. Every day I create. I cannot possibly know how I get there. I have an idea. Well, I don't know. I just know I will be there. I don't know how, but I know I will be.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah. And is there any kind of what if thought coming to your mind?
All the time. Yeah. All the time. Okay. Absolutely. But I catch them. And I forgive myself for saying stupid shit like that.
Okay.
Because I can always choose what if or it is already done. So I just don't give it space. But that took me a while to learn. And that takes some exercise, some practices, where you can catch yourself in these thoughts. So listen, we are here, right now. And what if will constantly haunt you to protect you. But I have decided to say, I don't want to know what if. I want to know how is it feeling to be there. That's a much more funny thought. And I live there at all times. I go train, I live there. I drive in my scooter, I live there. I go look myself in the mirror, I live there. So I live there now. I'm present here with you, but when I get silence with myself, I live there. In my mind, I'm there.
That's a beautiful note to end on.
Thank
Mike,
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Once again.
Thank you so much for coming and good questions.